This podcast is sponsored by Renewal by Andersen of Central Pennsylvania. If you're looking for sturdy windows or doors this winter, head on over to Renewal by Andersen of Central Pennsylvania. Every window is currently $400 off and every entry and patio door $800. Call 717-727-7558 or drop by rbacentralpa.com/deals before this deal ends on November 24th. A restaurant owner reportedly shot a teen who tried to steal from him. Meanwhile, a school district settles with the Satanic Temple. A property management company barred tenants from posting negative reviews. Lastly, the owners of a luxury jewelry store chain leave their business to employees. I'm Claudia Dimuro, and you're listening to Today in PA. It was around 10 p.m. on Saturday when a 15-year-old boy walked into the Hook Fish and Chicken restaurant in Stowe Township, reports PennLive. The spot's owner, Mohammed Hamdan, actually clocked the teen and his brother earlier in the day, later telling police he, quote, expected them to try to steal from him. That's exactly what happened. The teen, after walking up to the counter, grabbed the tip jar that was there and tried to make a run for it, but not before Hamdan shot him. The unnamed youth was taken to the hospital in stable condition with shots in his forearm, bicep, and shoulder blade. Hamdan was taken into custody Sunday morning and has been charged with aggravated assault. The restaurant's co-owner claims that Hamdan wasn't trying to hurt the teen, but was just attempting to fire warning shots. The Saucon Valley School District in Northampton County has reached a settlement with the Satanic Temple, reports the Associated Press. This podcast has previously covered this story, which all started when one of the temple's groups tried holding an after-school Satan club, whose motto is Educating with Satan, in one of the district's buildings. The district rescinded its earlier approval to allow the club after a flood of criticism and protest poured in, and the ACLU, in turn, filed a lawsuit in March on behalf of the temple over accusations that the school was violating First Amendment rights. Saucon Valley, as of this week, agreed to pay $200,000 in attorney's fees and to provide the temple and the club the same access to school facilities it provides to everyone else. This all took place, by the way, in a place called Hellertown, which is not a little ironic. A property management company based out of York violated both state and federal law by prohibiting tenants from posting negative reviews about them, states the York Dispatch. According to settlement documents filed yesterday, Inch & Co., which oversees about 4,500 units across the state, implemented a quote-unquote non-disparagement clause in its landlord-tenant leasing agreement starting in or around 2021. This clause prevented tenants from posting, quote, any disparaging, negative, or derogatory comments or statements about the landlord and or manager, unquote, and anyone who violated the clause was subject to legal action. Adds the clause, quote, truth shall not be a defense to this contractual term. The company reached an agreement with the state AG's office that includes paying $8,000 in civil penalties and legal costs. It's also prohibited from using such a clause in the future. Bernie Robbins Jewelers started as an appliances seller in Philadelphia back in the 1960s, begins Fox 29. 6 decades later, it's a luxury jewelry store chain that has multiple locations in Philly and New Jersey, and its owners, Harvey and Maddie Rovinsky, are looking to retire. But after searching for prospective buyers to sell to, the couple realized none of them really had the qualifications to continue the Bernie Robbins legacy. So they're handing the business over to current employees for free. The exact number of employees that'll receive ownership hasn't been detailed, but Mr. Rovinsky will stay on as CEO as soon as the transition's complete at the request of his workers. Says he of the new gig, quote, I'm flattered and honored that they've asked me to stay on, which I will be happy to do until I annoy them enough and they fire me. That wraps up today's episode. For even more news, head on over to PennLive.com. And please remember to leave this podcast a rating and to also leave it an honest review, if you can. Thanks ahead of time. And of course, thanks for listening. I'm Claudia Dimuro, and we'll talk tomorrow for another episode of Today in PA. This podcast is sponsored by Renewal by Andersen of Central Pennsylvania. If you're looking for sturdy windows or doors this winter, head on over to Renewal by Andersen of Central Pennsylvania. Every window is currently $400 off and every entry and patio door $800. Call 717-727-7558 or drop by rbacentralpa.com/deals before this deal ends on November 24th.